listening to the Marketing Happy Hour podcast, where we discuss career and industry insights with our peers in marketing.
We're here to talk about it all, like the ups and downs of working in social media,
how to build authentic relationships in the influencer and PR space,
managing a 9-to-5 and a side hustle at the same time,
how to be productive in your life and career without losing your sanity, and more.
Ultimately, we're here to build a community with you because we're all trying to navigate the world of marketing together.
Are you ready? Grab your favorite drink and join your hosts, Cassie and Erica, for this week's episode.
This week, we're speaking with Lisa Mastela, founder of Bumpin Blends, to hear how she built a smoothie cube brand from scratch and has since landed organic partnerships with ambassadors like Miranda Kerr and Amanda Kloots. Lisa breaks down lessons learned from working with influencers and why authenticity reigns supreme. She also shares how she's crafted a website which successfully drives customer engagement and conversion. Grab your favorite smoothie or beverage and listen in to this week's conversation with Lisa of Bumpin Blends.
Hi, Lisa. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing so well. We were just chatting offline about how you're over in Europe for the summer, which is so cool. And we really appreciate you joining us while over there. But before we get started, I do have an important question for you. What Bumpin Blends smoothie cubes are usually in your glass?
That's such a good question. I'm a huge fan of ginger snaps. I think that is like the most underrated flavor of ours. And I don't think I'm alone because it's not one of our best sellers in terms of first order, but everyone who orders it once always like reorders it multiple times over more than any other blend. So ginger snaps, don't sleep on ginger snaps. It's really good.
That's amazing. I literally, Lisa, just got my shipment in like 30 minutes ago and I immediately opened it and I had Strawberry Fields was the first one I pulled up, and I'm a sucker for anything digestive support. And so I'm excited about that, but I also love ginger snap cookies. So I'm going to have to give that one a go as well here soon.
I wanted to say Strawberry Fields because it's so unexpected. You're like, oh, strawberry smoothie. And then it hits you and it's like, oh, like
I'm
this
so excited.
and lemon and cinnamon and
oh my gosh.
I can't wait to try. That's gonna be awesome.
I'm going to go make a smoothie as soon as we pop off this recording. So can't wait for that. Well, Lisa, we're so excited to have you on here and just chat all things your journey and just entrepreneurship, building your business, etc. But we'd love to just kind of dive in and ask you, what was your journey that led you to creating a smoothie cube brand? And what is the mission of Bumpin Blends?
So I am actually a registered dietitian by trade. I have a master's in nutrition and public health, and I'm an RD. I've worked in hospitals, I worked on research, and I worked for a scientific wellness startup. But personally, I've always been a bit entrepreneurial. I was always very in high school, I started like a tutoring company, what have you. And like my parents are entrepreneurs. And so I always kind of wanted to do something in that vein. But I really loved helping people. I loved working in hospitals. I loved working in nutrition, and especially in like functional and medical nutrition, and really using food as a means to like truly help people and truly make people healthy. And so in my personal life, I used smoothies to do that. And I sort of, before like biohacking became such a big thing, I feel very old saying this, like back before kale was like something people talked about, like way back, which kale was like before chlorophyll, before like mushrooms, all, like way back when like, being healthy wasn't like a big thing. I always used smoothies as a means to sort of biohack my body. So if I woke up that morning and I was feeling kind of sluggish, or I had a headache or what have you, I would throw the right ingredients into the blender to do what I needed my body to do. Or like if I was having trouble sleeping and kind of tossing and turning, I would mix together like cherries and banana and basil, because cherries and basil have natural melatonin. Banana has magnesium, which relaxes your muscles. And if you drink all three at the same time, it just sort of like hits you and you fall asleep. And so I liked using it in my personal life. And then when I got pregnant, I found I had every symptom. Oh my gosh, like my smoothie recipe book got so big when I was pregnant. Every morning I was like, ugh, my ankles are swollen. I'll make a smoothie for that. Oh, I'm like so zony and kind of brain foggy. I'll make a smoothie for that. I'm moody, smoothie for that. So by the end of my pregnancy, I had like 50 smoothie recipes, and my husband tasted one of them. Well, all my friends and my husband always drink my smoothies, but my husband took a sip of my smoothie one day, immediately runs to the bathroom and was like, what the heck was that? And sorry, this is TMI. Sorry, honey. And I was like, it's a smoothie I made for digestion, because, you know, when you're pregnant, you have trouble with that. And like, and he's like, the horrible thing is that if I drink any more of that, I need to like go to the hospital. It's so good. I want to keep drinking more. You should bottle that up and sell it, because it really, really works. And he's not wrong. Like the smoothies really worked. And that was why my friends always would come over and be like, can you make me a smoothie for like anxiety, or can you make me a smoothie for sex drive or whatever? And so the smoothies worked. They were really delicious. And so we sort of said, like, you know what? I'm going to go on my maternity leave. If I can build a business while I'm on my maternity leave, then I'll do something like that. And if not, I'll just go back to work. And so I built it in my garage on my maternity leave with my newborn like in tow.
Oh my gosh, what an inspiring story. And I feel like the best brands are born out of something that you were already doing just personally, and just sharing that with your friends and family, and them inspiring you to actually create a brand out of that. So I love hearing that story. I am super excited to talk about this next topic, because our listeners know that I'm obsessed with expertly curated brand partnerships. And we noticed that Bumpin Blends has collaborated with several well-known influencers and brands to create some custom smoothie cubes. That's genius. I just want to hear a little bit around the stories behind these partnerships, why they're important to you, and what sparked the initial idea to start marketing in that way.
That's a good question. Like the biggest thing with Bumpin, I think that sets us apart in every area, whether it's marketing or whether it's the product, is authenticity. Like we are very much like, we're founded by a dietitian. Like we're not selling you some snake oil or like some powder, green powder that's not going to really do anything. Like our top priority is always the quality of the product. Like, does it actually do what it says it's going to do? And does it taste amazing? And so with each of our smoothies, because they really work and because they're really delicious, we've garnered a lot of organic attention. And so we've had like, you know, Chrissy Tiegen, Amanda Kloots, like all these big celebrities and influencers, you know, drinking our smoothies as customers. And it started with actually Miranda Kerr. We were like, we did like a little pop-up in LA, and she was there hosting, she was planning a party or something with her friends when she was pregnant, and she tasted one of our smoothies and was like, she immediately like sent her assistant over to our little booth. She's like, can you have these for me every day? Like, here's the info you need, the address, whatever. Can these just like, I need this every day. And can you guys provide the smoothies for my party coming up? And I was like, oh, okay. And then that just sort of took off very organically. And in terms of celebrity partnerships for branding, also super authentic and organic. Every big celebrity or influencer who talks about our product online is organic. We don't like pay these. I like feel like I've heard of celebrities getting paid like insane amounts of money to do brand deals where they create like something custom. It is purely organic. Like these people are our customers and they love our product and they want to create something fun with us. So like we did a 7-layer bar like butterscotch smoothie with Amanda Kloots a couple months ago. That it was like, she was like, what if you guys had this flavor? Like that would be so cool. You know, or same with Kaylin Miller Keys. Our flavor with Kaylin Miller Keys launched yesterday. She wanted to do 2 flavors because she had 2 great ideas for flavors that we didn't have, and she loved them. And I was like, okay, we can do 2. Sure. And so it's always super organic, super authentic. And it kind of just came about because these people were customers and they were really influential and they wanted a flavor that we didn't have. And so it's been so much fun. It's been a really, really a great experience for me.
lot of options out there for smoothies, but none quite like Bumpin Blends. Bumpin Blends offers unique, pre-portioned, and delicious frozen smoothie cubes to make snack time a breeze. Just pop a Bumpin Blends pack into your blender with a cup of your preferred liquid, and you've got an organic smoothie that probably tastes better than your local smoothie shop, if we're being honest.
With ingredients curated by registered dietitian Lisa Mastela, you can be confident that every Bumpin Blends smoothie is made from organic, whole food ingredients that are scientifically supported to be safe and beneficial for your specific needs. Plus, absolutely zero added sugars, flavors, or artificial ingredients. My favorite flavor has to be cinnamon toast shrink, formulated to help improve your mood, muscle cramps, and energy.
Mine is definitely acai banana, which helps enhance skin health and muscle cramps post-workout. Want to try Bumpin Blends for yourself? Then head on over to bumpinblends.com and take their 2-minute quiz to find the right blends personalized just for you. Then use code MHH20 at checkout for 20% off. Cheers! Cheers!
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. And so cool to just hear the behind the scenes of these people are already customers, already really enjoying your product. And then it just naturally fell into place. I feel like a lot of the influencer partnerships that we see today are the very same way, whether they tried it, you know, in a campaign or something and then started working with the brand, or they did that organically, just kind of developing the relationship with the brand over time, and launching something with them. So that's so fun. I feel like our listeners would love to learn how you kind of decipher what partnerships are a right fit for your brand. You know, are there any metrics that you're looking for, or, you know, brand alignment, you know?
Yeah, we work, you know, I've paid influencers, like paid people to talk about our product twice. And I paid them each the same amount. One of those two people had 1 million followers, and the other one had 8 million followers. And they each were paid 10 grand. They each did the exact same type of thing, and their demographics and engagement were identical. So the person with 8 million had essentially like 8 times the, you know, whatever, identical in every way. And the one with 1 million followers led to a great amount of sales. Was amazing. The one with 8 million followers led to nothing, zero sales. And I feel like that's a really great example of how important like authenticity is with like influencers and with brand partnerships. Like for me, the top thing is always the biggest difference also between these two is like, actually there was no big difference. They were even in the same part of the country. Like they even looked the same. And it just was so baffling to me. And I feel like for me, it's just been like the number one thing I look for in any kind of brand advocate is just authenticity. Like they have to truly drink the product and truly be a fan. And like order the product themselves. We do gifting campaigns, of course, like we of course always are doing influencer outreach, and we're always trying to like increase brand awareness. But for me, I've always like been able to tell when someone is like, like not being authentic. And we did a partnership way back in the day, like when we first launched with an influencer, and we went to her house with our photographer, and we were going to do photos and everything of our brand partnership. And also organic. She loved the products. We were going to her house, whatever. And she was wrapping up a previous photo shoot of like a product where she was saying like, I eat this bar every day. I pack it in my kids' lunches. Here's me packing in my kids' lunch. Oh my God, so delicious. And as soon as they stopped rolling, she spit it out and was like, that's the nastiest thing I've ever tasted in my life. And I was like, we were like 2 months old as a company when I saw this. And I was like, I'm taking this with me. Like this could never be us. Because it's just, you feel it as a consumer, you feel it when you follow influencers and they've never mentioned something and then all of a sudden they're telling you to buy it. You're like, totally. Anyway, I hope that answered your question. I feel like I have a lot of thoughts on the influencer front, but I'm like, it's authenticity is number one for us always. If it's not a real, true customer who truly loves the product, we're just really not interested.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's great to see more and more brands prioritize that as well. I think that's so important because I think about the start of the blogger influencer space where everyone was just taking on every single collaboration that a brand would pay them for, and that led to a lot of confusion for the customer. And so it's great to see now how we're shifting into more of this just organic feeling, authentic type of partnership space. And I think it really works on converting to sales too, versus just let me take on every single partnership that I can and just see what happens and see what sticks. It's amazing to see that shift happen.
And it's good for brands too, because influencers are not cheap to work with. Oh my gosh, influencers are insanely expensive to work with. And so as a small business, to pay an influencer, 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, like whatever they want, um, to have it not be a guarantee and potentially lead to nothing could be devastating for a
Mhm.
business. Like we paid that one influencer $10,000. We got zero sales. She had 8
Yeah,
million followers and like nothing,
crazy.
not one sale. And she and her daughter drink our smoothies every morning and they like truly love it. But
Yeah.
I think it's like, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
even have an answer.
That's crazy. Wow. Well, personalization seems to be a trend for you and just how you're building this business in connection with different partnerships you've done and things like that. But also, we see it on your website, which was really cool to dive into. So, just at first glance, we loved a couple of the touches, like how you have a quiz, kind of that personalized experience there, as well as the video pop up, which I think was cool not only for more of that personalization aspect, but it allows the customer to kind of get to know you and interact with you as the founder. And human to human connection, I think, is very powerful. But I'm curious to hear, what did the process look like for you and your team creating the website? And then what elements were important to you to be sure the customer experience was really smooth and fluid throughout the way?
Those are great questions. Yeah, the quiz and the little video are like my favorite things about our site. The quiz was always how I sort of envisioned the customer experience being. So, I mean, for those of you who don't know, you go to our website, bumpinblends.com, and like one of your options that you're kind of thrown into right away is like, hey, take the quiz. Take this quiz to find the right flavors for your body. Because for me, the quiz was like before I even started the company, I was like, I want to have a quiz on the site where people can engage with it in this way, because it not only teaches you that these smoothies are functional and they're designed to support your body in particular ways, but it also kind of gives you this fun experience of introspection and saying like, oh, brain fog. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is a thing that I have. I've never really classified it in that way, or it kind of makes you realize like, oh, maybe I do have this or need this. And so having that quiz gives our customers the ability to reflect on that, and then kind of have someone guide them, essentially like have these recommendations made for them, for a few reasons. And honestly, it comes back to that authenticity. Like any smart business person would tell you that when you're launching a new small business, you should have 3 SKUs tops, maybe 5. I didn't have anyone to tell me that. I was a dietitian. I launched with 30 SKUs.
Oh, wow.
Like ridiculous. I don't recommend it. And so having 30 SKUs, having 30 different smoothie flavors is a lot for a customer to look at, and it's overwhelming. It's too many flavors, way too many. I don't recommend it. I didn't get rid of any flavors because don't make me choose. It's like choosing a favorite child. There's no way. And our sales after like our 3 best sellers, our sales are pretty even split, like amazingly enough. Um, and we have seasonal flavors that rotate in and out. So if anything's not doing well, we just pop it out and then we pop something new in. And so having the quiz allows people to sort of parse that down for them, and realize that like these smoothies can be functional for them. Love the quiz. And it was always like a wish list item for me, because when we launched, we're bootstrapped. We've never taken funding. And so for me, when we launched, I took like a little bit of my savings, like 15 grand or so. And I couldn't afford to build a website on Shopify. And so I built it myself on Squarespace for free. And I told myself once we hit, I think my goal was like $500,000 or something. Like once we hit a certain amount of money, I'm going to move over to Spotify or Shopify and I'm going to be able to build out this website with the quiz. And so that was my goal. Like once we hit this number in revenue, we'll move over to Shopify. And so we did that in 2020 and we're able to build out the quiz. And it was like so exciting to be able to bring that to life. And then the video on the site is like, I feel like my biggest thing as a founder of a small business is like, one, how lucky are we running small businesses that we're able to be the face of a company and have the heart and passion of this product? Big companies don't have that. And so that's something we have as a leg up as small businesses or as like founder run businesses and entrepreneurs is like, we are the face of the company. We are the passion and the heart and the voice. Why not bring that to life in the most real way possible on the website? Because we're able to bring it and other companies aren't. And so that was big for me. I hate being on camera and I hate talking like that. And so it was really hard for me to do, but I think it has a big impact.
I totally agree with you. I also have that issue where I don't like being front facing. So I have always struggled with that, but I admire that you did it anyway. And you know that it has an amazing impact on your consumer journey because really getting to know the person and the heart behind a brand is what ultimately is probably going to make somebody purchase from you. And it seems like you recognize that and kind of weave that into all of the elements of your brand, which is so cool to hear. What other kind of marketing strategies have been working overall for you and the team? Did you guys dabble in any PR, any out of home, anything like that? Events, I think I heard you say something about an event in LA. What's been working?
Yeah, pre-pandemic, like, in 2019, we did a lot of in-person events. Early in 2020, we used to do all like the create and cultivates. I would like speak on a panel, we'd serve the breakfast or, we've done a lot of really fun events. We aren't doing them as much anymore. And so what we do mostly in marketing is like really organic earned marketing. Like we do a lot of influencer stuff. We do a lot of word of mouth and referral stuff. Like we have a really great refer a friend program and loyalty program. We have our email marketing, and our influencer program as well. We don't do a ton of paid media at all. And that's like in part because we're like a scrappy small startup. We're bootstrapped. Like I don't have 25 grand blow on like paid media ads. I don't know how they're going to do. But also like, I just feel like we've had a really good experience with like earning that authentic, organic customer.
That's
Like
awesome.
we're not a cheap product. We are like, it's our minimum bundle is like, in $80, $90 around there. And so it's like you're asking someone to trust that these smoothies are delicious and that they really work. And for us, when someone's friend says like, oh my gosh, these smoothies changed my life, or you go over to a friend's house and they make these smoothies for you guys, like those are the customers for us that are like well worth the extra hustle to get them.
That's awesome. So cool to hear. Well, we want to know too what's coming up for Bumpin Blends. Is there anything we should look out for? Anything you can share with us today that isn't under wraps as of now?
We are launching in retail in a couple weeks.
Oh, that's exciting.
We're gonna be in Costco
Oh my gosh,
in
that's awesome.
3.5 weeks.
Oh my word. Congrats on that. That's amazing. What was that process like for you getting into kind of the wholesale world of things?
I'm very scarred, emotionally damaged and
Oh my gosh.
traumatized. Kidding. No, it was such an incredible learning experience. To be in Costco is such a different experience than D2C, and to create a product for retail shelves is such a different experience than D2C. And our product in the direct-to-consumer space is amazing, but it doesn't really work in the mass retail space, not only because it's a single serving tray, but also just the ingredients and the way that we work together and the way that we blend it and make it doesn't work when we're making hundreds of thousands of units in one go. And so I needed to kind of go back to the drawing board and essentially create all new packaging, all new like serving size, all new ingredients, all new recipe,
Wow.
but make it taste identical to the direct to consumer product. And then we also have competitors in the retail shelves. And so I needed to make sure that not only was our product still amazing, taste the exact same and have the same functional benefits, but I'm very competitive. I needed to make sure we had more protein, more fiber, more good stuff than the competitors. And so to do that took a lot of work. It was a very long process and very stressful, but I'm really excited. We're like almost at the finish line.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Where can we look out for that? What Costco's? Is it a regional launch? Is it all of the stores? What does that look like for you?
We're starting in the Northwest,
Okay,
but I'm hoping you'll find us in more and more retail stores.
awesome. We will look out for that. Very exciting.
Yes. I have a question for you that's not on the sheet that we sent over. Our listeners are young professionals working mostly like 9 to 5 corporate jobs. And a lot of times they're feeling, burnt out or just, I don't know, they like kind of hit a wall, when it gets to be that late afternoon and can't really think and work anymore. What would you say as a registered dietitian is a recommendation for people like that? What's something that they should take? What's a smoothie they should drink? What do you recommend? Because I feel like it's a question that we don't really even ask internally is what should I be putting into my body to make this better? It's more of like, what do I need to do? What hobbies do I need to do or things like that? Just curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, a hot girl walk in a Starbucks. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But I love that question because honestly, like my biggest passion in life is just like exactly stuff like that. Like, how do I use food as a means to help like enhance me?
Yeah.
And I created our cookie dough smoothie like specifically for that purpose. So the reason like we all crash is because usually it's like it's a whole day's process. We have coffee in the morning, we're feeling great, and then we're feeling super hungry. So we have lunch. We usually eat a little too much lunch, or it's like too much at one time. And then, the blood sugar spikes, the blood sugar drops, and then it's like 3 p.m. And I feel like humans also naturally like are meant to nap. Like I feel like very much in my core, humans are meant to have like, if not a nap, downtime in the afternoon, but that's just not built into our culture. But anyway, our cookie dough smoothie is designed for that specific reason. I know this answer sounds so planted. I'm like, our product. But the reason that our cookie dough smoothie works and the way you could do it at home if you don't want to buy our delicious, amazing smoothie that tastes like a cookie dough milkshake, is the combination of oats, chickpeas, and some kind of like I think the combination of oats and chickpeas is essentially like a carb, protein, fiber situation. Because you have the fiber that's going to take longer to break down. It's going to keep you full. It's going to keep you focused so that you're not having that intense blood sugar crash. And then the protein also gives you that lasting energy. And so the carb fiber protein combo works great. And doing that with oats and chickpeas is like
Awesome.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. I'm also curious with that too. Obviously time is limited for a lot of professionals. We only have a minute to make lunch or to make a snack in the day. And obviously with the smoothie cubes, it's already a very convenient option for a meal or for a snack. How do you recommend blending those? What do you blend them with? What are some preparation tips do you have? And does it depend on the specific recipe that we're using?
Yeah, one of the biggest drivers for starting Bumpin Blends was that me making these smoothies every day was a disaster. I was spending like an hour in the kitchen every day, making a huge mess, using a ton of ingredients, like taking forever, and it never tasted quite right. And it's like a huge pain in the ass to make a healthy smoothie. And so for our cubes, you essentially just pop 6 cubes into the blender, add milk or water, and blend. It's like 10 seconds, no mess, no waste, no prep. And so what you can do if you're on the go is you can pop the cubes into like a mason jar or like a Stanley or whatever with a lid with a cup of milk or water and just shake it whenever you're ready to drink it. So you could like do your commute and then shake it after 10 minutes or something. Which is just a great way to be able to do it on the go without a blender, not have to think about it. That's game changer, really easy. Say I take my daughter, like I take my kids to the park and I literally just throw them into like a mason jar because my kids always want them too. And when they're like at the park and the kids get like really crabby after, like it's like a whole thing with snacks and kids. And so I literally just fill up 3 mason jars, like me, my 2 kids, we each have our own flavor. And like you take the mason jar with the cubes to the park and it's just so quick and easy.
Wow. That's awesome. That's so convenient. And you don't think about that. You think, oh, I have to have all the right equipment, but yeah, you're just saying you can shake it after a while. It's so cool. Okay. So we love to ask this question on the show as well. And what do you know now that you wish you knew, a little earlier on in your career? We always get a wide variety of answers to this. So it's so fun to hear. And I would love to hear from you.
Yeah. So many things. Like every day I'm learning new things. I just kind of wish that I had a bit more exposure early on to like the business side of stuff, whether it be like getting an MBA or bringing on like a co-founder that had a business background or finance background, because I think like there are choices that I made with the authenticity of the product at the forefront, which I still stand by and I think is so important, but they're just like weren't super wise business decisions, like creating a product that needs to be frozen nonstop, like not only cold chain like cold supply chain, but like frozen chain is like a whole beast. Shipping frozen, like it's really expensive and stressful to have a product that needs to maintain a frozen temperature, like in the process of making it, storing it, and shipping it to the customer. Yeah. Don't recommend it. If you're like, oh, I want to start a frozen, no, back up, shelf stable, or not food. What are you doing creating food? No, go back. So I feel like I would do something more in like the app space or software space, but we're gonna like start over and do it all again. But I won't change the fact that it's frozen, because I don't think powders, like any kind of like mixing powder with something, is just not going to be as effective as the real deal. And so that's one big thing. And then like just someone who could kind of advise me so I wasn't learning so much along the way of like, hey, I need to create a financial model that has all these different things and it is suitable for X, Y, and Z and takes into account A, B, and C. And I need to turn this financial model around tomorrow. Yeah. Like I kind of wish I had some time earlier on in the business where I was like, like we just did our first 10K and I'm like working 5 hours a week, and it was just slower then. I didn't know. I should have been like, oh man, then now's the time to learn how to do this stuff, because now I'm like swamped and busy all the time and managing my like team and everything and still learning that stuff along the way. So learn the finance business stuff early on, or get someone who does, and don't get into the frozen business.
Well, we are coming to an end with this conversation, which is such a bummer. I've learned so much, and just it's been really awesome to hear about your journey building the brand and just your personal career journey as well. But where can everyone follow along with you in Bumpin Blends online? We'd love to just keep up to date on new launches and things going on with the business. So where can we connect with you on social and beyond?
Yeah, the best way is Instagram. We're just at Bumpin Blends, BUMPINBLENDS. Or you can go on our website, bumpinblends.com. You can always reach out to us and reach me by like DMing us or whatever. We're on Threads now, which I mean, man, Threads, what a ride.
Yeah, right.
But and I don't know, am I able to like give a discount code to people listening?
Go for it.
MHH20 for 20% off. I can throw that together. Yeah. So
okay.
You can use MHH20 for 20% off anything on our site. And we're at bumpinblends.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a great conversation. And I have a lot of like takeaways to take from this conversation around like what to do when I hit that 3 p.m. slump. So I will definitely be blending oats.
The cookie dough smoothie.
Yeah.
You order a bundle. So yeah, you've got it. Try the cookie dough smoothie. Let me know how it goes.
I definitely will. I can't wait.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks to Lisa for joining us this week. You can shop Bumpin Blends online using code MHH20 or at Costco. If you enjoyed this week's episode, don't forget to rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. See you next week.